Hi, this is Jackie Rashandani, and today we're going to be talking about the Heartbleed Bug. The Heartbleed Bug has the potential to be the biggest and most widespread vulnerabilities in the history of the modern internet. Because most bugs in a single software or library come and go and are fixed by new versions. However, this bug has left large amount of private keys and other secrets exposed to the internet. It has been classified as a buffer overread, which is a situation where the software allows more data to be read than should be allowed. Considering the long exposure, ease of exploitation, and attacks leaving no trace, this exposure should be taken very seriously. At the root of Heartbleed is encryption. Encryption might be thought as a secret language between two people. The internet has a set of protocols for security and encryption, commonly known as security socket layer and transport layer security, which are the SSL and the TLS. The TLS and its predecessor, SSL, are cryptographic protocols designed to provide communication security over the internet. They use X.509 certificates and hence asymmetric cryptography to authenticate the counterparty with whom they're communicating, and exchange a symmetric key. This session key is then used to encrypt data flowing between the parties. This allows for data confidentiality and message authentication codes for message integrity, and as a byproduct, message authentication. The most common implementation of SSL and TLS is a set of open source tools known as OpenSSL. Why is it called Heartbleed? Because the bug is in the OpenSSL's implementation of the TLS protocols, Heartbleed extension, which is the RFC 6520. When this extension is exploited, it leads to the leak of memory contents from the server to the client and from the client to the server. Therefore, it's called Heartbleed. Little bit of history of Heartbleed. Heartbleed was introduced to the world on New Year's Eve, December 2011. Now, one of the people involved is sharing his side of the story. The programmer Robin Segelman says he wrote the code for the part of OpenSSL that led to Heartbleed. But he says that it was an accident. He submitted the code to the OpenSSL project and other members reviewed it. Segelman later added another piece of code for a new feature, which the members then added. It was this added feature that introduced the bug, and a lot of software packages started using the vulnerable version of OpenSSL in May 2012. So for 2 years, any banks, websites, or apps that run OpenSSL have been vulnerable. This is a pretty complicated thing to fix, technically, and it is not enough for IT professionals to simply patch copies of OpenSSL that are running on their devices, apps, and websites. They also need to make sure that the digital certificates issued before the patch are still safe. OpenSSL is a core library written in C programming. It implements basic cryptographic functions, and OpenSSL runs on 66% of the internet, according to Netcraft's April 2014 web server survey. So basically, most people interact with it on a daily basis. What would happen if OpenSSL had a flaw? What if the secret keys shared with the server were accessible by someone else? What if it was completely undetectable? That's Heartbleed. It's a vulnerability designed in such a way that with enough time and enough energy, lots of information can be accessed by someone, and you or the server wouldn't know about it. Because the exploitation of this bug does not leave any trace of anything abnormal happening to the logs. what exactly is stolen? The things that are stolen include secret keys used for the X509 certificates, usernames, passwords, instant messages, emails, and business critical documents and communication. Also, there's something known as leaked collateral, which are other details that have been exposed to the attacker in the leaked memory content. This may contain technical details such as memory addresses and security measures such as canaries used to protect against overflow attacks. These have only contemporary value and will lose their value to the attacker when OpenSSL has been upgraded to a fixed version. The NSA and Heartbleed. There's the rumor that says that the NSA knew about the internet security bug Heartbleed and regularly used it to gather intelligence for at least 2 years. If the report is true, which both the White House and the NSA say it's not, the NSA could have collected information like passwords and private communications from hundreds of thousands of websites, since Heartbleed is a bug in the popular open source encryption software OpenSSL, used to secure data flowing from users' computers to hundreds of thousands of websites, including Gmail and Facebook. Almost 2/3 of all sites on the internet use OpenSSL, according to the estimates, making this bug possibly one of the most dangerous the internet has ever seen and potentially allowing the NSA to access information on millions of users. The NSA could have left the door open for other intelligence agencies across the world to exploit Heartbleed, provided they found the bug. This revelation also seems to contradict one of the NSA's core missions, which is protecting and defending the American cybersecurity. What can we do about this bug? As long as a vulnerable version of OpenSSL is still in use, it can be abused. Fixed OpenSSL has been released and now it has to be deployed. The operating system vendors and distribution appliance vendors, independent software vendors have to adopt the fix and notify the users. Service providers and users have to install the fix as it becomes available for the operating systems, network appliances, and software they use. Here's a list of few providers and their responses to the bugs. Basically, if the provider has updated to the patch of Heartbleed, the users have to be notified and they just change their passwords. For example, Facebook, they actually just took it as a security measure to ask every user to change their password, but had not detected anything. As Google says, we have assessed the SSL vulnerability and applied patches to key Google services. Search, Gmail, YouTube, Wallet, Play, apps, everything that Google owns, basically. And they were not vulnerable, but basically they just patched it, even if they were not vulnerable, just for security measures. It's better be safe than sorry. Here are some other stores and e-commerce which were affected. These are other entertainment sources that were affected too. Should Heartbleed be removed to aid in detection of vulnerable services? Recovery from this bug might have benefited if the new version of OpenSSL would have both fixed the bug and disabled Heartbleed temporarily until some future version. Majority, if not most of all, of TLS implementations that responded to Heartbleed requests at the time of discovery were vulnerable versions of OpenSSL. If only vulnerable versions of OpenSSL would have continued to respond to Heartbleed for the next few months, then large-scale coordinated response to reach owners of vulnerable services would become more feasible. However, swift response by the Internet community in developing online and standalone detection tools quickly surpassed the need for removing Heartbleed altogether. That'll be all. Thank you for your time.